this is your first time, I'm the Northwest Fisherman Chris, and today we are going to be talking about some of my, well, quite a few of my most productive baits for the year 22. It's going to be kind of a long video, but I'm going to try to burn through this in order as much as I can. And to start out, let's go ahead and start out with something kind of important for this time of year. Let's talk about jerkbaits first. So, the biggest producing jerkbaits for me this year, and we've got our first angle. Okay, there's actually, I've got 3 here in mind. So, come on, there we go. So I got 3. The first one, I've actually still got tied on right now, so just for sake of things being on the desk, we're going to leave it tied on. This is the 6 Sense Provoke 106, kind of not surprising for me to hear I like the Provoke 106. This is a perch color. I found this to be really, really, really good, especially in the clearer lakes. For whatever reason, quite a few of the clearer lakes that I was fishing in, if I couldn't get hit on anything else, this or deep diving seemed to be the trick for me. Same thing with lipless. But beyond that Provoke 106 and yellow perch, I killed it this year. And of course, Megabass Vision 110. This one's I believe this one is the 4K Rainbow. I know it's the Rainbow Trout, but I don't remember if it's the 4K model or not. And then the other surprising one, this actually caught my PB Lake Rainbow Trout on this. It's a Vicious 110. They call it a perch, but it's not really a perch color in my opinion. But this thing works great. This is like my 3rd one. Yeah, I went through 3 of these this year. But thankfully, they're a little harder to find, but they're not terribly expensive, but they work great. Like, as far as like 110 size go, these 3 were my favorite 3 for the whole year. Provoke 106 and that yellow perch, Megabass 110 and that 4K Rainbow Trout, and then the Vicious 110 and what they call the perch. I don't really, I mean, it's got vertical slashes, but I wouldn't call that a perch. So moving on from there, unfortunately, I haven't bought any Vision 110 plus 1s or plus 2s yet. So as far as my deeper diving jerkbaits, I really hate to say this, but I kind of killed it on, once again, a perch colored Lunker Hunt deep diving jerkbait. Okay, so this thing, I think part of what makes this thing as productive as it was the fact that this thing kind of sits weird in the water. It sits up like this, vertically, okay? So kind of nose up, and then when you twitch it, it just flips on that axis. Which, I mean, I don't know if that was the idea with the design, but I think it was just different enough that it worked out. Yeah, I really I'm not a fan of Lunker Hunt, but this one was pretty solid for me this last year. Moving on from jerkbaits, let's go to lipless. Hands down, especially in the early spring, my number 1 lipless that I threw out of all of them, and even as we got here into the fall and through the later part of the summer, it's almost comical. But whenever I just wasn't quite feeling the bite, I don't know if it was just a confidence booster, but that, oh, and I almost dropped it. I think this is the second one I bought this year. That classic Bill Lewis rattle trap and the bleeding shad with the silly red hooks and that blue bag. It just, I don't know. Maybe it was a confidence thing, but I mean, I had a ton of luck on all my other lip lists. The single knockers, all the other ones, the suspending ones, all of that. I had pretty good luck with it. But every once in a while, I just tie this one on when it was a little bit rough, and it just worked out for me. And I mean, I could talk about all the other ones I have: the Vicious, the Sixth Sense, the insert whatever. Sometimes it's just got to be the classic. This one, the one with silver sides. My one with silver sides, it's just silver sides. It's basically demolished. Moving from there, let's go to square bills. Oh, did I only pull one square bill out? Oh, that can't be right. Let me hold on a second. Consistency. Thunderhawk A10. This crazy, stupid looking thing. I don't even remember what color this is, but it was a killer. It's been a killer all year. I have this in this color, and then I have it in bone, and then I have it in like a clown color. They're all great. This one was the standout. And then as far as square bills go, where'd it go? Unless I left it tied onto something. Yeah, we're not going to waste a lot of time on me looking for a square bill. I mean, I had tremendous luck on flat-sided bluegill colored. This is a Sixth Sense Crush 75 flat. I had quite a bit of luck on this, but this isn't the one that I'm looking for. I don't see it in here. I hope I didn't lose it or leave it somewhere. Anyway, moving on. We're not going to waste a bunch of time on that. The real kind of square bill, but not really square bill, killer for the year for me, though, the Swank 77 and that bluegill color. This really does just go straight through grass. This is great for that speed crank, stop, let it rise. If you need a loud, fat, wobbly square bill in your life, either one of these. If not, I really like the Crush 75 from Sixth Sense. But A10 Thunderhawk, this thing's sick. This is a standout on its own because it really does work as well as they try to say it works. It's great. In dirty water, in clear water, in water. You add water to this bait, and then the bait adds fish. This thing is surprisingly really good. I was fishing this dirt shallow. I was fishing this anytime I could. I was fishing this up in 12 feet of water and still getting hits on it. This thing is great. The faster you go with this, the better it is. This isn't worth slow rolling. There's no point in slow rolling this. If you're going to run this in the winter, you speed crank it. Crank, 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 rip, 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 stop. Let it rise, because when it's coming up, it still rattles just a little bit, because it doesn't come up straight. It kind of rocks a little bit when it comes up, and it comes up backwards. So if it does get hung, it kind of backs itself out of it. Standout bait for me. while we're still talking about crankbaits, let's go a little bit deeper. Once again, I know people are going to start calling me a 6th Sense fanboy, but I'm 99% sure at this point that this was an exclusive color I got my 6-sack, because I cannot find this color on their site. And I'm pretty sure this is the Mini Crush. I could be wrong. Somebody's going to correct me down in the comments. But I'm pretty sure this was an exclusive color. And I had a lot of luck with this. I had a lot of luck with this on crappie, rainbows, bass, smallmouth. Everything was hitting this. This guy goes down to about 6-8 feet. And it worked great. I caught perch on this. It's that size where big fish are going to hit it, little fish are going to hit it. You're going to hit multi-species with this. I love this little guy, but I'm pretty sure this was an exclusive color I had. Now this is the second or third one of these in tilapia. This is the Cloud 9. I believe this one is the C20. I had a great time with this with smallmouth fishing off of ledges and ridges and flats and everywhere. My other one's all beat up from the hooks, from fish, from grinding against the bottom of the lake. Oh yeah, I was fishing this thing hard because I love crankbaits. It's hard for me to pick a couple that really stood out because I switch them around all the time. Like this one, this is still tied on to my deep cranking rod right now. This is just my extra one in case I lose that one or destroy that one or whatever. Yeah, these tilapia colors and perch colors this year and bluegill colors were my thing. It worked out great, but we do depart from looking at perch and bluegill here. So let's talk about some of my favorite topwater lures that were kind of standoutish for me a little bit. A couple of them I was surprised by. A couple of them I wasn't surprised by. Well, I should say one I wasn't surprised by. And that was the new Hellraiser. Okay, I will warn you guys. Don't put the Hellraiser with other Hellraisers. Don't put the Hellraiser with any other baits. This thing is an unnatural ability to tangle into everything else. Actually, the one that I used the hardest this year and had the most luck with was that snow white colored one. Not the bone one, the snow colored one. That one I ripped off because it got stuck in my back and I was trying to pull it free, and then I finally got it out of my coat and it fell out of my kayak. But the Hellraiser was it was really, really good. Like when they were on that bite, they were all over it. Little guys, big guys, all the guys. This is a great bait that I really cannot wait to throw again. I gotta buy another snow-colored one. I'm gonna buy the bone one too, and I'm gonna buy the black one. Because those were two of the colors that I didn't get when I bought all the Hellraisers earlier this year when they came out. But, yeah, the Hellraiser, that's a good one by Z-Man. Okay. So some of you are going to hate on me for this. And I really didn't want this to be like the good popper this year. But it was the Googan Squad. That silly chartreuse and black popper that I had the best luck with. I don't know if it was just the color combination. Because I really don't think this might be my only chartreuse and black popper. But when it was starting to get dark outside, getting to that dusk, this was the ticket. I got a couple other poppers that I used and I had a lot of luck with. But early morning and dusk, this was it. I might try to get another popper in this color just to try it out and see if there really is something special about this. But this thing, they call it a blooper. It does a really good job at blooping, and it's a slightly different bloop than all of my other poppers. I had other poppers that I really wanted to be like, oh yeah, this looks really good, and then it wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. It happens. You live and learn. Now, as far as like wake baits, those semi-surface, like almost like glide baits, okay? It was this one specifically. It wasn't my 6th Sense glides. It wasn't the Mega Bass glide that I bought. It wasn't any of the other ones. And it was this one exactly, this color. This is the Yo-Zuri Hardcore that I think I got this in a mystery tackle box. I don't know what it is about this. Bass, like, when I would throw this, they would do one of two things. They would be either 2 or 3 following it back, and then all I had to do was just kind of twitch my rod, and this thing would be like, just kind of go down and then come up sideways, and they would nail it, okay? But it was this pink and white one. This pink and translucent pearl one. With a silly prop on the tail, the little red feathered tail. This one. Don't know why. Don't really care why. This thing worked great. The only thing I will say about this is the hook protectors. I got most of them off. I didn't get all of them off, but I got them at least off the barbs. This thing was just better than I expected. Way, way better than I expected. Yeah, of all colors. Because I think I had this in 2 or 3 colors. But this was... I didn't get bid on any of the other ones. But the pink and translucent pearl one. So that's kind of special, because after I got blown up on this the first couple times, I was like, oh, I'll grab a couple more colors. Nothing on the other colors. Try this one. They're all over it. Don't know. Don't ask. Just the way they were. And while we're talking about little glide wake baits, go ahead and switch over to small swim baits. This is my second one this year. Second or third, because I absolutely destroyed the first one. This is that Mike Bucca Baby Bull Shad. But this is the perch one, obviously, of course, because this was the year of the perch for me. I was throwing this on my regular, like, square bill, like, little crankbait rod, and it was working perfect. I had plenty of backbone. That's medium fast, or medium moderate, or yeah, it's a medium moderate, my 6 scale, with a little MGL SLX on, or not SLX, Shimano MGL on it, and this thing works better than it should. I actually got this in the rainbow trout version, hoping that would work really well too. Not half as well as the perch colored one. So we might as well just talk about swim baits while we're here. All of my swim baits over 5 inches. Okay. This was the #1 killer all year long. In the spring, in the summer, in the fall. Like 3 weeks ago. It's a 6 Sense Trace, and this is the Cajun Bluegill, and I'm on my second pack of tails for this. They just really like it, and I love working the trace. I love being able to just pull it, pop it, let it fall, do all the things. This one's a fast sink. Um, yeah, it's just, and I can throw this on a medium heavy fast pretty easily, but I usually just throw it on my big swim bait rod because, I mean, that's what I got it for, right? Oh. Okay, moving on. So as far as like standout baits and swim baits and crankbaits and glide baits, not really glide baits, it's a wake bait. Why do I keep calling it a glide bait? Um, these were like my really big standouts. Now we'll get into spinners. My two favorite spinners this year. This one I got halfway through the summer. I had quite a bit of luck. It's like a green pumpkin shad color. This is a I believe this was a Nicholas Lures. But this thing worked out really well. I had quite a bit of luck with it. Lots of good hardware. It was a great spinner bait. Now the one that I absolutely tore up the entire spring with, and a lot of the early summer, was a Googan Squad, and I think it's because of the different color of the blades. So it's got the Colorado in that brass color, and then it's got that big silver willow. So this is 3/8 ounce guy. It's in that bluegill color. In the spring, I was getting destroyed on this with a little 4-inch paddle tail. It was just like it was actually, oh, I do have more. It was these. It was the Biospawn 4-inch swim bait in the Lab Magic. These were the ticket in the spring on this. Now, when we got more into the fall, when the waters became more pressured and there was all the traffic and everything, I switched down to that 10,000 fish Yodo worm. I just ripped the tail off of it. I need to replace this anyway. And this did a pretty good job. But fish for the year, I think I caught the most on this. Not the biggest, the most. And it held up really well. The wire's not even that bent after the summer. Yeah, this was the ticket for a trailer on it. Now, as far as just regular swim baits go, once again, we got that bluegill color. This is a 6 cents and 3/8 bluegill. This is the Divine Swim Jig. And this has just got I want to say that's a little Kitech. I think that's the 3-inch Kitech in AU is what I'm thinking. Anyway, this was pretty much the ticket because it's more of a fluorescent blue on the bottom than a white. And it just worked all through the year, especially when the fish got more pressured and I needed something that was just less. This was the ticket. I have another one of these that I trimmed the weed guard way down on just to give it, for a lot of the more clearer waters that I was fishing, just to kind of reduce that part of the profile. Okay, so we're going to talk about soft plastics before we get into more jigs. As far as craw patterns go, I threw a lot of craw style soft baits, but the two that really did it, and it didn't matter if it was a Texas rig, it didn't matter if it was a trailer, it didn't matter really what it was. Overall, the best craw, and the two colors that worked the best for me all year, the Silly Bandito Bug. Green Pumpkin and the white pearl. You can hate on it. Like, I'm surprised I don't get comments on my videos of people hating on the Googan Squad baits, but it's so versatile because you can rip it down, you can rip the appendages off, you can mount it sideways, because that's what I was doing on this, was I was taking the pearl one, ripping the legs off of it, and then cutting about a third of it off, and then flipping it sideways up on here. So this hook was just kind of buried about 2/3 of the way up. The fish would come down because it gave it just a little bit more action. That was different than just putting a paddle tail on it. This. I also throw these on bladed jigs and regular jigs. And pretty much everything else. Both these colors. Also Junebug. I don't think I have to say Junebug. Soft plastics and Junebug catch fish. Alright, so with swim bait trailers, the three that really did it for me this year, oh, that's not it. Oh, I didn't want to drop that. There we go. This isn't the color I wanted, but Z-Man Diesel Minnow and the AU. I'm probably butchering that. I mean, the Smoky Shad was great too. But these are phenomenal trailers, and you can umbrella rig them. You can do all of that stuff with all three of these. I don't know, I'd have to go into detail about that. But Diesel Minnow and AU. Biospawn Exoswim 4-inch and that Lab Magic. This was really good. And this bait, I really like it because you can cut it down and section it a little bit easier than you can the Keitech or the Diesel Minnow. Forget trying to cut that. Especially if like your teeth or something like that, you'd have to have a legitimate knife or scissors. But this, you can just bite this right off, which was really handy. And this color just, it worked great for me. And then of course 3/8 Keitech. This is the Bluegill Flash. I have the 3/8 Keitech in a whole bunch of colors. They just work, and it's just kind of one of those things where you just kind of match it to whatever you're throwing close enough, and they work great. I really like the Swing Impact fat ones. I just like the bigger body, and I feel like they kick harder than the slimmer ones. Okay, so we'll just jump right into my favorite Ned rig bait for the year, and that was hands down the TRD Craws. I mean, there's honorable mentions in that. The Exopod was actually really good because it's got the two little alien whatevers. But the TRD Craws in Green Pumpkin, it just, this was it. This was that Ned rig bait for me for this last year, and I think I went through. That's my second pack I went through, and it wasn't so much that it was the fish were destroying it because it's Elastec. It was I was taking them off and putting them on so many times because you don't want to store Elastec baits with other plastics because it gets all gooey and melty and dries things out, whatever. That I was just losing them or just hooking them too many times. Now, for my favorite creature bait, it's kind of a tie between two kind of specific ones. So, first up, we'll go with the Googan Squad one, the Trench Hog, the full-size Trench Hog, and Junebug. this works great. You can cut it down. I like the junior one too, but the full size one I like a lot more. Um, this was absolutely fantastic for like the first half of summer. And then I found something that I loved even more. And this, I know for a fact, is an exclusive color from 6th Sense, and that's the Hogwalla. And it's that weird, this color, this exclusive color. I was lucky. I bought 2 more packs on eBay. Relatively cheap. And, dude, this color's awesome. I wish this was a production color. I also have the Hogwalla in, well, all the other colors. I got it in Junebug, I got it in Green Pumpkin, I got it in Green Pumpkin Blue. I think I got it in like a Okeechobee Craw color, maybe 2. I think I have like 4 or 5 packs, but the exclusive one, that was just the one for the year. And it didn't matter if it was Texas rig or if it was a Carolina rig. I had some luck trying to fish it weightless, because it looks really, really, really good weightless, the way it falls. But casting it was not so much fun. I experimented with weightless a lot with that, with mixed results. I wound up throwing it on a flipping style hook with the best results, but it still just didn't have really the weight, even if I put it on spinning gear. But it's the Hogwalla in that exclusive color. If you can get it on eBay or something, or online, if you can find it, I highly recommend that, because you can't just buy it. I'm not going to talk about stick baits, because, I mean, we call stick baits Senkos, and there are bad stick baits, obviously. There are really, really good ones that we call Senkos by Yamamoto, but they're really, really soft. I really didn't feel the need to show the like 8 different stick baits that I really like this year, but it was the Senko. I like the 6th Sense. I forgot the name of it. Of course I do. I got the Lunker Log. It was fairly good. It just wasn't as supple as the Senko, as soft as it was, which kind of upset me. I used the Lunker Hunt one. The ugly camo one worked pretty well. Yeah, Green Pumpkin Senko. I even have the Meteorite 6th Sense one, the bright orange one. I had quite a bit of luck with that. Yeah, it's just, bro, they're stick baits. I'm not going to sit here and bring out all the stick baits. However, what I will do is, I will talk about these bladed baits here. Now, in the world of bladed baits, I've got 2 that I really, 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 really like. And they come in 2 main flavors, but one of those flavors has way more flavors. Okay? That's why one's got a box and the other one's in my hand. So, the Thunder Cricket from Strike King. This thing will get bites. Okay? It will not get the amount of bites that you'll get from, like, a jackhammer. Okay? But if you have a feeling that they're on a bladed jig or spinnerbait bite, and you can't get bit on a jackhammer, and you don't have a spinnerbait that you're really feeling is the right color, or the water's not quite right, or you're just not willing to throw it, grab a Thunder Cricket or 2. Get a couple colors. The 3 favorites I have are the Green Pumpkin. That's kind of a given. The Firecraw, which is really cool too. And I have it in this, I think it's a shad burst color, so it's green on top and then white on the bottom. And then I pair that with the Lab Magic 4-inch Exo Swim. It works fantastic. I also like throwing the Thunder Cricket with a little fluke style bait. This is another Biospawn bait. I don't know. The Thunder Cricket, I don't feel right putting the Razor Shad on it. Now, we're going to talk about Z-Man blade baits real quick for a second. Okay. And there is a tremendous amount of options that you have. Like, it's kind of stupid. So, all my Thunder Crickets are 3/8. Jackhammers, I get them in 3/8, half, and I have 1 3/4. I don't go heavier than that. I just don't feel that that's the place for a jackhammer. I like to use a big blade in that situation. But if you're going to get a jackhammer, the 3 colors to get them in my opinion, is your Green Pumpkin Razor Shad, or you can go with an AU, probably butchering that again, from Z-Man. Okay. You got your black and blue jackhammer with a black and blue Razor Shad. Okay, so this was really, really good. This was catching fish when it shouldn't have been catching fish. When I was fishing beds on super clear days with super clear water, they were destroying this. I don't know if it was because of the silhouette. I don't know if it was just I got lucky on those times. But even in clear water, I was getting drilled on the black and blue jackhammer in the middle of the day in crystal clear water. Okay? And then, of course, the Fire Craw jackhammer. Okay? With the Fire Craw Razor Shad. I do throw the white jackhammer, but if you're going to buy 3 jackhammers, because these are they're expensive. Let's just be honest about that, because this is a $15 bladed jig and you get the Razor Shads. You only get 4 in a pack for, I think it's $6 or $7. So that kind of sucks. Okay, so you're automatically in this over $20 if you go buy it from the store for this combo. That's $20. That's $40 now. That's $60 now. If you're getting into it and you don't want to get them all, you don't need all this. Now I have them in a whole bunch of sizes. I also have the Mini Maxes. I also have the Freedoms. I also have the Super Mini, and then I have like all of them. I have another box. This is where I keep all the white ones. I really like using the Pearl and the AU on my white and chartreuse, my white jackhammers. I think it's just the fitting trailer. And I mean, I have the blank bodies. I have the Willow Vibes. The Willow Vibes are really, really cool. Especially if you can slow roll shallow spots. It's great. But yeah, you don't need all of this. If you're gonna pick 3, go with these 3. And say you don't want the Fire Craw, get a white one. That is the recommendation. But I highly recommend that you pick up a Thunder Cricket or something that's good, that's not another chatterbait. And the reason why I say that is everybody loves a chatterbait. Okay? Minimax, Big Blade, Jackhammer, whatever. you're going to want something different so if they get used to that bite. So another one that I keep around that, I mean, I wasn't impressed with the Skitter Shad, the Mustad Skitter Shad, as much as I was the Thunder Cricket, and that's why I recommend the Thunder Cricket over the Skitter Shad. But the Skitter Shad, it's a great option too. Everybody is making a bladed style jig now. You can even get just the blade itself to mount onto any of your swim jigs. So, say you had, like, my 6th Sense swim jig, you can get a blade. It goes right through the hole. It goes right through the eyelet. Okay? And then you can make whatever you want. Which I think is really cool. The only thing that I worry about with that is if you do hook up with a big boy, if it's going to pull that blade apart, because the blade comes apart so you can put it on the swim jig. My only worry is it didn't happen to me, but it was also kind of in the back of my head that it could happen, that you would end up only reeling up the blade with no swim jig and no fish. But yeah, these are just kind of my top picks for the bass lures I used this year that were kind of standouts to me. But the biggest standout of the whole entire summer really was the Silly Swank 77. I now have this in like 4 or 5 colors. This is my favorite. I have 2 or 3 of these now in this color. Just in case I lose one, break one, whatever. Or if somebody wants to borrow one, be like, hey, throw this on. But it's phenomenal around grass. And this was just kind of the one that I didn't hear a lot of hype about. And that's the other thing. When I picked these, I wanted to try to pick the baits that I had a tremendous amount of success, that didn't have a whole lot of hype behind it. Or if it did, like the chatterbait, like the jackhammer, it just solidly catches fish. It's worth the money. The Trace, $35 kind of sucks. Tackle Warehouse has them on sale right now for $25. Just saying, I don't have a link, and they're not paying me to say that, but it is. But yeah, some of these just stand out, and it's like, wow, that's solid. I mean, I had to say the Vision 110 because the Vision 110 is phenomenal, and I had amazing luck with it. But I also put the Vicious out there for you guys. I didn't know it was going to work as well as it did, and the Vicious was vicious. It was great. Great hookup. I lost 0 fish on the Vicious. I lost 4 good fish on the Vision 110. That's why I ordered the hook upgrades and the new split rings for it, because I'm not really on that team of losing fish. It's not my favorite thing to do. But I've rambled on for quite a while now, guys, so I'm going to let you go, and we'll see how many of you guys make it to the end. If you make it to the end, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. See ya.